And joining us here today is Professor Jan Zielonka, lecturer at the Oxford University, European Studies. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Hello.
So what would you say would be the biggest challenge when it comes to the participants of this meeting? Of course, it was outlined in our debrief, but which one of these would you say is the most pressing at this stage?
Well, the events are most dramatic in Ukraine and the Middle East. But the topic which is probably equally challenging is the issue of Western Balkans, because the last thing the EU can afford is that some of those countries in the Western Balkans, like Serbia, are more under influence of Moscow than Brussels.
And now, how do you feel like this recent elections that we witnessed, the EU elections, might have impacted the EU's foreign policy priorities? How do you see it unfold?
Well, since people who did particularly well in these elections argue for further transfers of powers from Brussels to national capitals, I expected it would be more difficult than before to get states on one line. So you cannot have European policy without not just majority, but all member states on board. And this will be probably more difficult in the coming years.
So you've mentioned the situation in the Balkans, and this is a bit of an elephant in the room for the European Union because it essentially has given prospects to many countries there, but later on the entire process of integration has ground to a halt. Do you think that, given the importance of this region right now, the European Union will be able to pick up the pace when it comes to reopening their path towards integration?
Well, this is all chicken and egg, because the UK, it's to the states in the Balkans. If you want to join the European Union, with our conditions, and you are not doing this efficiently. But if those countries are really seeing very little chance to join the European Union and to gain the seat at the table and access to EU resources, then they basically will look for alternatives, and this is where Russia can step in. There are also other issues of importance. For instance, we've observed in Belgrade big demonstrations of people who do not like Serbian governments exporting so much arms to Israel. So Serbia is a very important kind of state in various contexts, and this is the country in the Western Balkans where the EU has the least influence. So which is of course not just a problem of Serbia, but also a problem of the European Union.
And now you mentioned that there are other issues that have to be discussed. Now, I feel like migration crisis is one of them. So different views on how to handle migration flows and integrate migrants posed a major point of contention among EU members. But how do you see it?
Well, if you really are serious about migration, you have to address the roots of migration. What causes people to embark on a very desperate journey? Because a lot of those people who migrate end up either in the Mediterranean Sea or in some Libyan camps, or, as you know, get very welcoming treatment on the Polish-Belarusian border. So the factors which drive migration is basically war, poverty, and climate change. And no European states can address those issues on their own. and no, and to address those issues properly, to reduce the pressure to migrate, it requires not just collective effort, it requires an effort over years, because it cannot be just fixed within few months. Within few months, you can build a wall somewhere on the border, which is rather largely symbolic. So the first step is to address the roots of migration, and this can only be done together over a longer period of time. And I'm afraid the politicians who were elected in various countries across Europe look for quick fixes and basically think that the issue of migration can be sorted on the border proper. This can solve some kind of 10% of problems, but not the remaining ones. And then the issue is what you do, of course, with those who are already within our countries. And here you also need to find the solutions, which is fair and just. And here we don't have agreement too. So although, you know, the paradox is, and I finish here, that we all talk about migration as the issue number one. I'm not sure it's issue number one, but it's an important issue. And at the same time, we fail to endorse measures which will help us to sort out those migration.
So migration is an issue that certainly will require teamwork among European partners, and with the results of election, achieving this degree of teamwork may prove difficult at some point. Still will be, of course, coming back to this discussion very soon indeed. Professor Jan Zielonka was our guest today here on TVP World. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.